Hey, so we're on part 22 of What's on the Shelf, and I've decided I was going to try and do it as a video this time instead of just typing everything down. And I think that'll just allow me to be able to talk a little bit more about the game, share some more information. But we'll see how it goes and see what I decide to do in the future. So on the 22nd cubby of my game collection, this is the one here right here. So we have Super Motherlode, Scribbler, Mastermind, Scattergories, and then Raptors. So Super Motherlode, that's one that I've got, geez, a few years ago now. It's a Roxley game, and of course we're a big fan of Roxley here because it's our local game publisher. And with this one here, so it's a deck building game where you're mining down in the earth. And whatever you mine will give you resources, and with those resources, you'll utilize to buy more cards that you can add to your deck. Now, each player have their own deck, and they can purchase their own card, and you kind of slowly unlock better and better cards. So you would have to kind of, in one category, get the lower value card before you can go to the higher value cards. But it's really neat because when you're digging, you kind of would put little black pieces that covers the area that you've dug. And depending on the type of dirt that you're in, what type of digging you can do, right? So if it's hard rock, you're going to require a different tool than if it's loose dirt. And then you'll uncover different resources, as I mentioned. You'll get those. And then the deeper you start digging, then because you start the board and there's two boards. So you have the top level, and then you dig deeper, and it goes to the second level, and you start digging deeper, and then that all shifts up. You get rid of the first board and you put in the third one because now you're getting into the deeper. So that's it. It's a neat game. It looks really cool. I would really enjoy this one. Next one I have is Scribbler. So Scribbler is pretty much Telestration, except that it's on paper. This is one of those mass-produced, available everywhere type of game, and I've had this one for a long time. The neat thing about having it on paper instead of with the dry erase board is we've kept every piece of paper, and every time we play, we go through all of it and kind of see the funny things we've come across. But it's the same thing. So you get a card that'll have different saying. You select one and you write it down on the top portion of the paper, just the saying. And then the first person writes the saying and draw what it is. And honestly, the worse you are at drawing, the better this game is going to be. So you put the saying, you put the drawing, and then you roll it up into this little plastic thing because it rolls up so that everything is hidden. Then you roll a dice that's going to tell you if it goes to the person to your right, the person to your left, if it's a shuffle or how it gets passed around. And then the next person gets it, and then they pull down just enough so that they see just a drawing, and they have to write a new caption for it. And then after they're done, roll that back up and then kind of go around, and then the next person gets the new one, looks at just the caption, and they have to draw a new drawing for it. And what you get at the end can be completely different. The funniest one I remember we did was, it started off as my family walk on stilts. And the person who drew it drew stick figures, people on stilts. And the next person that got that drawing recaptured it to be, I have extra feet at the knees. It was unrecognizable at the end, but it was hilarious. And yeah, with these ones, it's kind of neat because you get to keep that piece of paper. I just got Telestration as well, just kind of for ease of use. Mind you, it's like the adult version one. So I haven't actually played Telestration on its own, so we'll see if I like it more than Scribbler. The Scribbler game is, say, 4 to 6 because the box comes with 6. And I ended up buying at a thrift store a second box that had 5. So actually you can play 11. So it's really just limited to the amount of those plastic holders that you have. The next one we have is Mastermind. This one is a blast from the past. When I was a kid, my aunt had this game, and every time I went to her house, we would pull it out and play it all the time. This is a 2-player game. The copy I have is the one in the picture here. So you have the thing that goes in the middle, and you put your like the main part onto it, but there's a wheel at the bottom. So the person that's the code breaker will take the different, I guess, pearls. I don't know what to call them. So you put 4 different colors, and then you can roll it to the other player that's got the code, and then you got see that little separate piece where they can set the code so nobody sees what it is, but they can kind of refer back to it. And then on the left-hand side, you can pull, and it'll pull different, like in white, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And in white indicates how many of the colors you got correct, but that are in the wrong spot. And then on the on the right side, you got the red ones, and then those are the right color on the right spot. And the goal of the game is to try to find the exact combination of colors that they had come up. So when you do different attempts, see if you can break the code. This is a neat one. I'm gonna keep this game forever. Next one we have is Scattergories. This is probably like the cubby that has my oldest games. I've had this game for a long time. Scattergories is another game that you'll find everywhere. It's kind of a word game. So with this one here, everybody gets the little folder. There's a piece of paper in it, and then you have a bunch of cards, and you make sure that you're all on the same category card. And then what you'll do is you roll the dice, and the dice has different letters. So you'll roll the dice. If it's the letter H, then you start the timer and you go through all of those different categories, and it could be like food that you'll find in the fridge or something that's in this room, and different things, right? And you have to come up with an answer that starts with the letter that you roll. And you want to be a little bit creative, because if you put something that another person has, you're eliminated and you get less points. And then you get a point for every word that you got that was unique for each category. I mean, sometimes you just can't think of anything. If you come up with a word that's like a double word that has the same letter, like a 2-word portion that's H and H, then you would score 2 points for that one. So this one's been a neat game. It's a fun word game, and one that obviously has been staying in my collection for quite a while. Next one I have is Raptor. Now, Raptor is a really neat game. So this one is one that I got fairly new. It's a 2-player game only. I had heard lots of good things about it, so when I came across it, I was like, yeah, I think I want that one. So I bought it, and I was really surprised by the mechanic of it. I had not realized that's how it worked. So in this one person is the mama raptor and controls the baby raptors as well. And the other player is the scientist. The mama raptor wants to get her babies away, and the scientists try to capture the babies to be able to do some experiments with them. So you got 2 different goals. Each players kind of have different action that they can do. But the way that works is you have a deck of cards, and you draw a certain amount of card, and then you secretly set down the card that you're going to do. So the cards go from 1 to 9. Card number 1 also has an action on the top. Most of the cards have an action on the top except for the 9th, or it's just a number. So if I reveal an 8 and the other player reveals a 5, well, the person that has the lower number gets to do that action that's on the top of the card. So it could be you get to move, or you get to do different things. And then there's other actions that you can do that's not those special actions. But so the person who had the higher number get the difference of actions. So if it was 5 and I have an 8, then there's 3 actions I can do. If I had an 8 and they had put a 7, then I would only get to do 1 action. And then with the mama raptor is when you can shoot her with a tranquilizer gun. That's one of the special things you can do. And if she starts getting shot by tranquilizer gun, it slows her down, so she needs extra actions to get going. One's just going to be to kind of overcome the tranquilizer. It's really neat. I don't know which side is easier to play as. I've played it as both a couple of times, and it's just a really neat game. Like, this is when it's all set up here. So there's those little pieces that stakes out at the end of the boards. Those are where you want to try to get the babies out of. And We'll get a little closer look here. So the little, like, see the one that's laying down there, the baby's been tranquilized. So if a scientist get to it, they can grab it. Now with a scientist, you can't do too aggressive move on the same turn with the same scientist. So you can't shoot the baby and go pick it up. But if you had two scientists nearby, you could shoot the baby to tranquilize it and have the other one go pick it up. Really, really neat game. It's one of my favorite two-player games that we have. So that's it for my cubby number 22. If you want to see what I post on my Facebook group is Didsbury and Area is playing all the games. Or I'm on Instagram as well under Board Game Mama. All right, thanks. See you guys later.